edits. I'm sorry that you are having a bad day. Oh god, the tone turns up. Having a bad day, but I hope you're feeling better now as best you can. Ooh, look at the pretty rings around Saturn. I guess I should probably come on camera at some point. Ooh. I guess I will come on camera now. And suddenly the music goes, it instantly dies. Where's the music? There. Okay, different music, but it's still music, and it's much darker. This is much darker music. It's more epic in the back. Like, listen to this. Much more epic. Anyways, how is everyone doing today? It's good to see everyone. Heart to everybody. Sending everyone love. I just want to say to Alexis Edits as well as Dorian R. I know you both said earlier in the chat that you weren't feeling super great, so I just wanted to send you both love. But hello, everybody. Good to see you. Rowan, Homebody, Cappuccino Crafts, Corey, Just Carowin, Molly, Thomas, Toods, Miss Wicked Wolf. Yes, thank you so much for the super chat. Heart to you. I really appreciate you. NCC1701 Chris, as always. Vale, Corey, sorry to see that you and Vale can't stick around, but I'm sending you both my love. I love you both. You are both wonderful and amazing, and I hope you're both doing well. Let's see. Who else haven't I said hi to? Super Femi, good to see you. Laser Pipe, good to see you. Loki. Loki, I'm so gonna butcher your name because it's all like Norse mythology stuff, and I'm terrible. Loki Skoglioten, but I send you a heart. Apologies if I mispronounce your name. I did not see the Steve from Blue's Clues video, Cade, but I did see that it happened. I was very excited about it, but I hope everyone is good. Yeah, so, just to talk about some stuff really quickly before I talk to the chat, just to give you the quick lowdown of what we're doing. For those of you who are new to this, every Thursday I do a chat stream, which is what this is, where we hang out for about an hour. I just chat with everybody. We talk about whatever you all want to talk about. We're going to talk a little bit about what I want to talk about today, because yesterday was Star Trek Day, and there was some cool Star Trek news. I'm just going to gush about it for a second, but it won't take up the whole chat. Most of the time, I'll be gushing about Star Trek news for the first few minutes. I won't get super spoiler or anything, but I'm just going to gush about it, and we're going to nerd out about it for just a minute or anything like that. But Arcrease Torson, good to see you. Welcome to your first stream. Welcome, heart to you. Other things that we do on this stream, you know, like I said, we're going to talk about Star Trek for a little bit, but beyond that, then we're just going to hang out. I talk about whatever all you want to talk about. If you do a super chat, I give you a nice heart and tell you how much I love you, and then I read your super chat, obviously, and respond to it, whatever your question is. Otherwise, I'll just respond to what the chat's talking about, and then we hang out for about an hour, and then I give everyone a heart and a virtual hug at the end of the stream. And that's about it. So yeah, that's basically the gist of how these things go. So yeah, like I said, we're gonna talk about some Star Trek Day stuff and things that I just want to nerd out about because there was some cool stuff. And hey, apologies if I mispronounce your name, but Bazariel Bloodwolf, good to see you. Welcome to your first stream. It's good to see you. Heart to you. You are lovely. And hi, Louis Man Gaming. Good to see you. Let's see. All right. So, let's nerd out about the Star Trek stuff. All right, let's see if I can get this to work. I'm going to try something new. We're going to try something new today, everybody. I set this up in like the 5 minutes before the stream went up, so we'll see if this actually works. Also, Grant Johnson, thank you so much for the super chat. Heart to you, lovely person. Earl Grey Tea Fun, so excited for Picard Season 2. I finished it already, but I kid you not, I was drinking some Earl Grey tea right before the stream went up, but it's since finished now. But yeah, just Carolyn, I'm sorry to see that you were down, and same with you. You listened to the Pagan, but we are going to nerd out about stuff right now. So wait, I'm gonna see if this works. Y'all gonna have to tell me if it works. So we're gonna transition over to this screen. Oh, well, there's no music. Dang it, music, come back. Why no mute? Oh man. No music. Wait, I'm gonna play around with this. Can I play around with this? Wait, I need to see... Do that button. Where's the sexy music? Oh, no. Wait, I want to see if I can change... Alright, we're going to see if I can fix this music real quick. No, that's going to change that. Don't want to do that. Alright. Something weird might happen here. This might get really weird. Let's see if this works. Aha! Ha! Alright, but let me pop that down. There we go. There we are. Cool. Of course, now we lost the floaty bubbles that were here a second ago, but what are we going to do? No floaty bubbles. No floaty bubbles for you. No floaty bubbles for anybody. We'll just have to live with the floaty bubbles. But you do get weird floating Tendy, because I didn't have enough time to design this background. So Tendy's just up there, just where she is, like, on my screen. She's like right up. She's right over there, just floating. Look at her. She's gonna come. Whoa! Can I get her? Can I get her? Bring her down. There she is. Look at her, just weirdly floating. She's right there, floating above my head. Oh, Loki! Thank you so much for your super chat. Heart to you. Sending love to all, and you are a and my pronunciation was spot on. Yes, I did it. I probably will not be able to do it again, but thank you so much for that. And I'm glad. And thank you so much for the super chat, you lovely, amazing person. Okay. So as you can see, this is you're seeing you should be seeing my screen, and you're seeing, basically you're getting a look at what the algorithm chalks up to me. By the way, I don't know why. Yeah, this is what the algorithm chalks up to me every day. So you're getting a look at what Jessie watches, and some of these people I'm not subscribed to and stuff. But there you go. That's the stuff that I watch. Also, like Steve, Batman stuff, and video gamey stuff, and all that jazz. But anywho, I'm doing this because we're gonna be looking at Star Trek Prodigy trailer. And we're going to look at some... Well, actually, no. Let's not look at that one first. We're going to look at some Star Trek stuff, and I'm just going to nerd out about it. I haven't seen Doug Days on... I haven't seen Doug Days yet. Sorry, I'm moving stuff around on my thing so I can make sure I see the chat here. I can't play the actual trailer because then we'll get a copyright claim. But what I can do is we can sort of bounce around the trailer a little bit, and I can just show you some stuff that I wanted to nerd out about here in the stream. So let me just make sure I have everything up and where I want it to be. So... I'm just gonna bounce out it because yeah, I sadly cannot like just watch the trailer with everybody, but because then I get a copyright claim, the stream will go down, and I don't want that to happen. So we're just gonna show you some stuff that I liked. First off, the first thing that we all need to talk about, because they're freaking adorable. Where are you? Where are you? You're just cute. Your cute little adorable face. Where is this thing? There he is. Look at that thing. I forget his name, but he's supposed to draw it. He's got a cute little smile, and he's got like a little galaxy inside of him. He's just so cute. He's just so cute. He's gonna be adorable, and I'm so excited to see him in the show. His cute little face. Carla, the Cinephile, heart to you. Good to see you. Thank you so much for the super chat. You said, I'm on vacation and can watch the whole stream instead of just popping in for 10 minutes. Yay! I'm glad you're getting some vacation, Carla. I'll get some relaxation. But yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Star Trek Prodigy is the new Nickelodeon is doing a Star Trek show, and it's gonna be like a cool adventure show with a bunch of kids. They find a starship, this proto-star. That's one of the kids. A bunch of the kids. They have a new little Starfleet badge there, but they find a cool little. They're in the Delta Quadrant, which is where Voyager was, the sort of section of the galaxy that's far away from the rest of the galaxy, and they find a Starfleet ship that's been abandoned, and they come on it. There it is, the proto-star. It looks sexy as all hell. Look at that sexy ship. If I was a starship, I would, let's just say, if I was a little bisexual starship, I'd be looking at this starship with sexy eyes, little here. But yeah, let's just the crew of little adorable little kids going out into the galaxy. It should be a lot of fun. It's giving me like heavy I mean, the people who made Troll Hunters made this, but it's also giving me like Kipo and She-Ra vibes, which is making me very, very excited. I mean, honestly, I feel like the animated Star Treks are my favorite Star Treks at this point. Like Lower Decks, I freaking love, and I like Discovery and Picard, but the animated stuff is where it's at, and they get to do more cool stuff. So I'm super excited from this. But also, for those of you who may not have known, if you have heard of the show, the reason you probably have heard of it is because look who's back! It's Janeway, and look at her. Look, I'll show a quick little clip of her in action. Look at that. That's all I can show before the stream gets taken down. So. Look at that. I've never seen Troll Hunters. I've only seen the first episode of Troll Hunters. So I'm excited. No one spoiled Troll Hunters for me, but I'm excited for it. Yeah, so there's that. And we get our Janeway back, played by Kate Mulgrew, which I'm pumped for. Was there anything else in this trailer I was like super pumped for? If you haven't watched they released the opening credits to it. The opening credits to this is gorgeous. And I'm excited for it. It looks like Janeway being edited. That would get me to play Fortnite, Problesium. I would 100%. If they added, I don't play Fortnite all that much, but if they added Janeway to Fortnite, oh, you better bet I would be in there wrecking stuff. Also, this robot's a non-binary character. I don't love the fact that the non-binary character is like the robot character, because that's kind of a little bit, stereotypical for non-binary people. But there is a non-binary main character, which I'm down for. But I just wish it wasn't the robot alien metaphor character. But at least we do have an actual non-binary person in Star Trek Discovery. So I'm not going to knock the Star Trek franchise too hard for that one, but there it is. But the animation looks amazing. The jokes are really funny in this trailer. You got some more Janeway with her, like, look at that hair. She doesn't have the bun hair, which is freaking me out. Like, give me the bun hair. So very, very exciting. Medusan. Thank you, Steven. It's a Medusan. Also, we got our villain character, which is I don't know if this is the one. One of the villains is going to be played by John Noble. John Noble from Fringe. And this guy looks like I don't think this was the guy who's playing John Noble. There's like two villains. I forget who the other one's played by, but I just remember John Noble from Fringe. So yeah, I'm excited for that. But yeah, the animation looks great. I mean, look at this bridge. You got the cute little adorable blob thing. The cute little adorable blobs just make me so happy. I'm all here for blob characters because I identify most with blob characters because I am a sentient talking blob. Aren't we all? So I just identify with sentient talking blobs. But anyways, that was fun. The Prodigy trailer looks really cool. Exactly, Lumen Gaming. A lot of the problem with non-binary characters is most of them are robots and aliens because they get to be genderless, robots and aliens, but humans can't have gender because we don't see non-binary people as like real people, or at least a lot of fiction doesn't. As a non-binary person, I say that as a non-binary person. And so I am saddened. I did a whole video on it about a year or two ago, where I talked about that stuff. And hey, Abe and Drod, good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Alex says we'll talk about 7 in a minute. And yeah, Punk Rock Zoologist, the opening credits of this is awesome. Like, do yourself a favor. Go watch, not right now because you're hanging out with me, but at some point do yourself a favor and go type in Star Trek Prodigy opening credits. Beautiful. The score is beautiful. Michael Giacchino, who Oscar-winning composer. He composed for the Star Trek 2009 and Star Trek Into Darkness films. Beautiful, beautiful composition, and I'm so excited for this show. Legitimately, like we're gonna nerd out about the other trailers in just a second, which I'm more excited for the stuff that we learn in that trailer than the stuff we see in this trailer. But I am more excited for this show than probably any of them because this is the show that's like doing some of the stuff that I'm really excited about, like a Star Trek show that's not focused on Starfleet. Like, I love Starfleet. Don't get me wrong. Starfleet is great. And it is not a military as we know it today. It definitely has different goals than a military. But it is a sort of military structure. And as much as I love Starfleet, I'm excited to see more Star Trek shows not focus on Starfleet mainly. And Prodigy seems to be the first show that's like has a predominantly non-Starfleet / non-ex-Starfleet cast. Like Star Trek Picard does have a lot of non-current Starfleet characters, but a lot of the characters are ex-Starfleet. Like Picard, Rios, Raffi, they're all like ex-Starfleet characters. And so I would like to see a little bit more diversity in the Star Trek show. So that has me very excited about it. Again, this isn't hating on Starfleet. I love Starfleet. We all know this, but it's just something I'm kind of pumped for. All right, let's nerd about some other stuff, because if you hadn't heard about this, I just need to gush about some stuff that's going on here. We're gonna do this. Look at this. Okay. So I can't play the trailer, but they released a trailer for Star Trek: Strange New Worlds. This is where I'm going to be. I'm gonna freak out at you, everybody in the chat, and just everybody, just know this. Just know this. I'm about to freak out. and I did we did a trailer reaction. Unfortunately, it got copyright blocked. I did a trailer reaction that I'm going to release on my other channel once I disputed the claim, and hopefully the claim will go away in the next 48 hours, it says. So if you want to see my trailer reactions, hopefully that'll be up soon on my other channel. But I think that'll be sorted out. And also, Stephen Fenn, thank you so much. Heart to you. You said Zero the Medusan isn't really non-binary. Medusans are genderless. It's also not a robot. It's in a suit. Fair enough, Stephen. You are correct. You are correct. But yeah, you are correct. They are genderless and not non-binary. They talk about the character as if they're non-binary, but it still has that like alien metaphor problem where it's like, non-binary people only get to be non-binary in a like alien context instead of an actual human context. Again, Star Trek does have a human non-binary character in Discovery, so the franchise as a whole I think is doing decently well in that respect. It's just one thing I'm just sort of like, oh, I would have liked to see a non-binary character or a trans character in the show in Prodigy that isn't like in metaphor. But you know, it's you know, they do what they do. Anyways. Star Trek Strange New Worlds trailer. Look at that sexy Pike. Anson Mount. Anson Mount is a daddy. And, he's a silver fox, and I'm here for it. And no one can convince me different. He's just got that silver fox energy going on there. Also, he's got some tubes around him right here in that transporter room. But anywho, you can look at this. Look at his uniform with his sexy silver fox face. Sexy silver fox. I don't like this uniform as much on him. You got the little command things there. I don't like this uniform as much on him as much as the collared one that he had. That in Discovery they had that like yellow collared one that I liked a little bit better than this on him. We'll see it on some other people, but then we also got like Ethan Peck sitting like a ramrod straight for some reason. Just there. But then Ethan Peck in the Spock uniform, looking all cool. I miss his beard though. Where's the? I want the Spock beard back. I want the Spock beard back. But what are we gonna do about it? Sadly, nothing. I just want it back real bad. But then okay, here's a uniform I can get behind because we got Rebecca Romaine in the as number 1 as Una. Chin Riley, which actually I didn't catch that. I guess her last name is Chin Riley, which I didn't catch. That's awesome. I didn't know that she officially got her last name in this. Reinhardt68, a heart to you. Thank you so much. Jessie, do you see how toxic was in the live chat for the panel? Racist, homophobic. Can't believe that those people supposedly like Star Trek. Yeah, we don't need to get into that too much, but yeah, I was actually in the live chat for the YouTube stream last night of Star Trek Day of all this stuff. There were some people being homophobic and transphobic, and it sucks and it's awful. But those people are in the minority. I mean, the thing is, YouTube, unfortunately, a lot of these people are riled up by hate by certain other YouTube grifters who are grifting hate, and they can never I'm not saying that people can't hate current Star Trek. They totally can. If you just like current Star Trek, that's totally fine. That's a legitimate point of view to have. What I am saying is there are people YouTubers out there that stoke the fires of that hate in order to grift people. And they can never not hate something, because to not hate it would mean they would reveal their grift, and they would end their source of what their whole like brand is built upon, which is like fueling people's anger and disgruntledness at stuff. And they usually do it in very toxic ways, like stoking homophobia and transphobia, saying it's the SJW agenda, trying to push their agenda into our stuff, when Star Trek is it's always been woke. Star Trek is the epitome of woke. It's never perfect. It's never been perfect in its representation, but it's always tried to be woke, and to say otherwise is silly. But yeah, that's just sort of the take on it. So that being said, the reason that the chat was all that way in the live chat was because YouTube has sadly, a lot of the big platforms that push that stuff, they direct their people to like fuel that hate on those things. So they're a minority, they're small, but they have a loud voice in these streams because they have nothing else better than to like rant about and how much they hate something while people are trying to enjoy something. So there we go. Anywho, look at this. This is what we want to talk about is what I really want to talk about, not to let the toxic people get the attention here, is look at this uniform. Now, this is the uniform that I'm here for. This is the one I'm going to buy. Because, like, it's got the zipper up thing right here. Like, It's just got the nice little zipper up bit, and I love it. It's absolutely wonderful. Dorian R, thank you so much for your heart. Thank you so much for your super chat, and heart to you. You are lovely, and I hope you're feeling. I know Dorian earlier said you weren't feeling very good, so I just want to send you a kiss and hope you're feeling better soon. And thank you for the super chat, and thank you for saying that it was pretty insightful. I hopefully, it's something that people start to understand more and more, because I always want to be clear. Totally okay to hate something. If you dislike current Trek, you have criticisms. I have criticisms of current Trek for sure. Like how everything needs to have, like all the live action shows need to have world-ending stakes for some reason. Don't love that. It doesn't. Not everything needs to have world-ending stakes. But I still like the shows. But I have criticisms. But there's a difference between criticisms and just feeling hate for hate's sake. And I think so. I hope that that's not as insightful as it needs to be. I hope that's fairly obvious, but sadly that's just how it goes. Anywho, let me just keep going here. But yeah, anyways, Una's uniform here. I want this uniform. I'm more about this uniform than I am about the collar, like the kind of collarless ones that like Spock seems to have on back here. I like this one more, and this is the one I'm going to buy probably. I'm probably going to, for my cosplay needs, this is the uniform I'm probably going to end up buying. Also, we'll talk about that in a second, but I want to share that stuff too. But here, okay, everybody, here's where I'm going to freak out with all of you. This is me freaking out with all of you. So in case you didn't see this, they had announced some cast members for Star Trek Strange New Worlds earlier this year, but they announced who some of them are playing. This wonderful human being, Celia Rose Gooding, is playing freaking Cadet Nyota Uhura. She's playing freaking Uhura, everybody, and you're getting to see her as a cadet. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. We're getting another Uhura, and she looks amazing. She seems like a wonderful person. Like, looking at her Twitter, she seems like an absolutely wonderful human being. And just look at her, and I'm so excited. Like, don't get me wrong, Nichelle Nichols is an icon and amazing. She contributed so much to history, and not my community to speak for, but I know she means so much to the Black community for her representation on television. So not to discredit her in any way, shape, or form, because obviously amazing, but the character of Uhura never got really a chance to shine all that much. I think she probably even had the most to do in the Kelvin films, where Zoe Saldana also played her wonderfully. But even then, she was kind of tied to Spock, and like her biggest stuff was like, oh, she's dating Spock. And I found that interesting. I liked the Spock-Uhura relationship, and she was a much stronger character in that movie than probably elsewhere in the franchise. But it's so awesome that she's going to get to exist in the show, and we're actually going to get more chance to flesh out her backstory and really focus on her and give her more. And so I'm so excited for that. I'm just so pumped, and I'm sure this actress is just going to do the history of the character and do Nichelle Nichols proud. And I'm so excited to see it. And also, Geek Filter, heart to you. Thank you so much. It's good to see you. I photoshopped Spock and Pike's colors to black, 1,000% better. I want to see. You're gonna have to send that to me, Geek Filter, because I want to see that. Also, heart to you. Thank you so much to Baz. Thank you, Baz Bloodwolf, for your super chat. You are lovely. Mwah. Mwah. You can call me Baz, but I'm definitely excited for more Spock and Number One interactions like the Q&A short. Yes, agreed. The Q&A, if you haven't seen the short Trek Q&A, their little interactions were wonderful, and it was just so much fun. I'm really excited to see like what Pike. I'm excited for all these characters. I'm really, really pumped about it. So I'm just so excited for all of that. But yeah, I'm so excited for her. Then we get this actress who is playing Jessica Bush, who is playing Nurse Frickin' Chapel. Which, by the way, one of my favorite things, and they talked about this during the panels that they had afterwards during Star Trek Day. But the actress who played way back in the day, you had Majel Barrett, who went on to be Gene Roddenberry's wife. She originally played Nurse Chapel, but she also played Una, which I think you can see her there. So she also played Una. So Nurse Chapel and Una are both going to be in this show, and they're originally played by the same actress in Star Trek, but now they're played by two different characters. So it's going to be hilarious to see those two characters interact. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. It's going to be kind of funny. I hope they have a joke about it at some point that they kind of make a reference to it, but that's just absolutely hilarious. But yeah, I love this medical uniform that she has on. Very like Culber-esque, like the white. I like the white medical uniforms that they have. And I love her hair too. Her hair looks pretty awesome. Also, you kind of get a glance at the the Enterprise medical bay here. Awesome, very very cool. And then we also get, I apologize to the actor. I know I'm going to mispronounce this name probably, so this is my deepest apologies to the actor in advance. Babs Olusanamokun. Again, apologies. I'm trying my best with the name, but I am the dummy for not being able to pronounce his name, so feel free to make fun of my pronunciation. No disrespect to the actor. But he is playing Dr. Mbenga from the original series. Which is going to be really, really great to like flesh out that character, to see more of him, and also to see more representation of, you know, the Black community as well as Star Trek, which is something that I think Star Trek, again, not my community to speak for, but I know that they've done a really good job of featuring many different diverse Black characters in the show, which I'm excited to see. So that is absolutely wonderful to see him getting to step into that role. And I like his collar. Like, he gets the black collar here, that like geek filter. I like this black collar a hell of a lot more than the collarless thing that Spock and Pike have on. I just like the black collar a little bit more. I don't like the collarless, and I also like the high collar one that Una has. So there's a bit of variations of uniforms it looks like it's got going on, but I like the black collar a little bit more. I think it looks kind of nicer. Also, Marissa M, thank you so much for the super chat. You lovely human. Mwah mwah. And Reinhardt68, thank you so much for your super chat. Heart to you. I am in love with the casting. Dr. Mbega, Nyota Uhura, and Christine Chapel, and Anunian. I'm going to get to it. We're going to get to the Noonian sing, Reinhardt, but I agree with you so much. And if we find out, I'm so excited. And Homebody, you said stop over apologizing. I just want to let people know the reason that I apologize so much for people's names. I just want to make clear here, just to like put this out there and just make it known, is I know that for a lot of, especially people of, non, straight, cis, white communities, that, especially for people of color, I guess is probably the better way to put it, that their names are often mispronounced because our society does not like teach our culture, especially like from how I grew up, how to pronounce these names. And that has actually even been weaponized against certain communities. Like, for example, in Georgia, one of the ways that Georgia like tried to get people off the voter registration cards is that like if your name did not match, in Georgia, one of the ways they tried to like get people off the voter registration thing is to say that if your name didn't match like the record that they had for you, that they would automatically take you up and you'd have to re-sign up to be a voter. And that targeted a lot of people in the Black community, because a lot of people who input records are like white folks who sometimes don't know how to spell names correctly. So when they inputted the records, they would maybe misspell a name because the name was misspelled and the records were off. It would kick because of the law, it would kick Black people off the voter roll. And so we see a lot of that in our society in a lot of ways. And so I want to be clear that when I say a name that I don't know how to pronounce, that is a thing on me. That is a problem on my part, that I do not know how to pronounce these names well. And so the reason that I over-apologize is not to like over-apologize just to over-apologize, because I do tend to over-apologize. But the reason that I say that is because I want to make clear that like I am mispronouncing someone's name, and people deserve to have, as a trans person, I know this too, like people deserve to have their name said correctly. And because I am someone who is raised a certain way, I don't know how to say these names correctly sometimes. And that is a fault of my own and of the culture that I grew up in. And I just want to acknowledge that and say in just a small way that like when I mispronounce a name, that is on me. And I want to give utter and complete respect to the person that I am saying their names, and because I am mispronouncing the name, that is a fault of mine, not of them, and it means no disrespect for them. So that's just something that I wanted to put forth and just kind of say in this stream, and that's why whenever I say someone's name and I know that I'm going to mispronounce it in some way, probably I apologize for it, because it's for that reason, because everyone deserves to have their name respected, and to have their name correctly pronounced. And so that's the reason that I do that. And I saw a few super chats come in real quick. So I just want to say that. Stephen Fenn, heart to you. You said, I think I pulled a muscle in my face smiling so hard when I saw Uhura and Chapel in that trailer. Right? It would make me so smile. The thing that excited me a lot too is coming up in just a second. J Lord, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said, why do Americans often confuse social democracy with socialism? The Scandinavians, a nation are not socialism. They are capitalist monarchies or rubber welfare states. That is a much larger conversation that I'm willing to have, not in this stream, but you are correct. Like, there's a lot of people in America that often say, like, that's socialism, when it's just, like, capitalism with a few, like, social safety nets, but it's not actually socialism, but it has, like, elements of it, but it's still capitalism. Like, for example, the United States is a very capitalist society, but we do have some socialist stuff in there, like Social Security, which we defund too much. That is a socialist program, a socialist type program, but that does not mean that our country is by any means socialist. So yeah, that's again, longer conversation, but you are 100% correct. I totally agree with you, J Lord. And Geek Filter, heart to you. Thank you for sending me the pics. We'll talk later about it, but I did get the notification on my phone here. I thought come in. And then Punk Rock Zoologist, heart to you. By the way, Punk Rock Zoologist does a lovely Star Trek Deep Space Nine podcast, which you should totally check out, and is lovely. Punk Rock Zoologist is a wonderful human person who I adore. Says, woo and Aussie on the Enterprise. I love that Jess Bush got her start in acting on Home and Away, Australia's favorite shitty soap opera. Nearly every Aussie actor cuts their teeth on that show. That's hilarious. And I don't know much about the Aussie soap operas, but that's hysterical, and I love it. I wonder, Ben Broder's Aussie, right? Did he start on that show? I love Ben Broder. He's one of my favorite Aussie actors. He's Aussie, right? I believe Ben Broder's Aussie. He's done a lot of shows in Australia. I feel like he's Australian, but anyways, I know he just did a lot of shows in Australia, but I don't know if he is actually Australian. But anyways, Chloe, again, apologies if I say your name wrong. Chloe Benen. Heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said, I'll contact you later, but I have some Star Trek scripts and document you might be interested in. Oh, yeah, I would love that stuff. Thank you, Chloe. Yeah, please. Feel free to, my DMs are open on Twitter. I also have my email down below. But yeah, I would love to. I love seeing little documents to dig my teeth into. So yeah, don't give them to me if they're valuable and there's something that matter to you. But if something you can PDF scan or they're invaluable, I would love that stuff. I love seeing old cool documents and digging through them and maybe doing research with that stuff. So yeah, that would be awesome, Chloe. I really appreciate that. Let's see. All right. Sorry, I'm talking quick because I want to make sure I get through all this stuff and then also have some time to nerd out with everybody tonight. Because we're already halfway through the thing. Okay. So they talked about all these old faces that they're bringing back, but then they announced some new faces. I'm so excited for all these folks, but the one I'm most excited for is this guy, Bruce Horak, plays Hemmer. Wait, where is he? Hemmer, who is an Andorian character. But not only is he an Andorian character, they didn't confirm this, but he looks like he's an Anar, who the Anar are the blind Andorians who live in the sort of Antarctic section of Andoria, but they're like super telepathic. We learned about them in Star Trek Enterprise, which is my favorite. Everyone knows, if you all know, Star Trek Enterprise, the like ugly duckling of the Star Trek franchise, but one which I love. I love Star Trek Enterprise so much. So to see not only an Andorian character here, but an Andorian Anar character who's a reference to Star Trek Enterprise, even freaking better. I'm so excited about that. But even better than that, this is the most important thing. Speaking of representation, which we were talking about earlier, the Anar characters, as I said, are visually impaired. And so this character from what we can see, it looks like the character is visually impaired, but also so is this lovely human Bruce Horak, who he also is a visually impaired actor, which is amazing. So often in Hollywood, there's this presumption that it's totally fine for, non-disabled people to be like disabled characters to be played by non-disabled people, and it sort of leaves disabled actors unable to find roles because they aren't even considered for the roles that they are, I don't want to say best suited to play, because they can play anything. They're actors. Actors can play anything, I feel, or at least a good chunk of things. But like the roles that like they would be most able to find a job for, even then they're not considered. So for Star Trek to actually hire a visually impaired actor to play a visually impaired character, especially an alien character where it would have been easy for them to kind of be like, oh, it's an alien character, we can just say they're visually impaired and hire anybody. For them to actually do that is amazing. So not only is this a great representation, at least for my money, again, I'm not visually impaired, I'm not part of that community, so I can't necessarily speak for them on that front, but for my money, that's awesome, really, really cool, and it's really, really cool to see an Andorian character here, and hopefully, finally, they will confirm and talk about the different genders of Andorians, because Andorians have multiple sexes, and possibly more, like, they have multiple, like, they have, I want to put it the right way because I don't want to like discount possibly like intersex Andorian people, but they have like 4 sort of main biological sexes on Andoria, probably more genders because I'm sure there are more genders than that too. But I hope they actually confirm that because that's something that's only been in the books. So I'm excited to see that. Also, some more super chats here. Chloe, thank you to you. You said some teleplays, nice scan, and PDF at some point. The rest are PDFs. That's awesome. I would love to see that. Thank you so much, Chloe. Please message that to me because I would love some of that stuff. I love seeing documents like that. Also, Larry Nemechek, who's he has a lot of like Star Trek documentation stuff. I know he would probably be interested in that stuff too. And Super Femi, heart to you. You said waves to Jessie, just another $5 for his. Oh, that Choco Taco. Thank you, Super Femi. I remember. I will buy a Choco Taco to try on Saturday night. Thank you for reminding me. I told you to remind me, and you did. So I will do that. For those of you who don't know, I've never tried a Choco Taco. And the chat on Saturday's live stream convinced me that I need to try a Choco Taco, apparently. So I'm going to buy one and get one and eat it on Saturday night. So if you want to see Jessie scarf down a Choco Taco on a live stream, hang out with me Saturday night. And Hontas Farmer, thank you so much. Heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. On names, Alusan Makun, again, apologies for mispronouncing it. Not knowing his is not really insensitive towards African Americans. African from Africa, mine is American legend. Oh, I didn't know that. I actually didn't know that he was an African from Africa. And yeah, you're right. That is a distinction. Like he is not an African American. He is African. But still, the same sort of rule applies, right? The culture that I grew up in is not one that taught me how to say those names properly, and so again, that's on me. So the same thing I was talking about earlier applies, but you are correct. Like I should make the distinction between African and African American, or the Black community as well. So just to sort of state. But thank you for pointing that out, Hontus. I really appreciate that. Then we also have Laana Noonian Singh as this character. The interesting thing here, besides how awesome she looks, is that she's a Noonian Singh, which means like possibly like she's a descendant of Khan Noonian Singh. This is obviously before we actually Khan gets brought out of sleep in the Star Trek timeline. And so it's just interesting to see, like, is she like a direct descendant, or is it something like, you know, like a Genghis Khan sort of thing, where like a lot of people can trace their lineage back to him, and she just happens to have his name? Did she take on the name? A lot of interesting questions with her character here. But the Noonian Singh last name is an interesting thing to note, and I'm curious how that's gonna play into her character. And then the last character I think we got, don't want to play this because I don't want to get copyright infringement here, but we have Melissa Navi, played by Erica Ortegas. Another great, you know, more diverse casting, which is awesome. But also, her hair is freaking awesome. Just on looks alone, if I can be shallow, just completely shallow for a moment and just judge on looks alone, I think I might have a favorite character, or at least a character who I might have a problem with in terms of like just being able to watch her, because she's very attractive. Just saying, very attractive person on the screen right now. Just saying. And I can already tell she might be a favorite character. If me being, I'm getting all the like LGBTQ vibes from this character. I don't know if the character will be or not, but just all those vibes. So I like I said, if again, me being shallow as hell, I love her look. I just absolutely love her look. Let's see. Edward Bedor, heart to you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Ha ha ha, boobs. I'm high AF. Hey, I'm not above being high and just saying boobs. 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 I don't know. I'm being a dork, everybody. I'm being a dork. Lisa Garrison, thank you so much for the super chat. Heart to you. You said I was thinking she was a descendant of Eric. Ooh, that would be interesting. Or a Kirk, you mean? Or Eric? Who is Eric? Inside. Now I'm curious. Eric. Star Trek Oh, Ark, like Ark Noonien. Oh, yeah. From Star Trek Enterprise, they did the ancestor to the guy who created Data, that appeared in Star Trek Enterprise. Yeah. That would actually be super interesting, actually, wouldn't it? I would actually really like that. That would be kind of cool, actually. That would make sense that he would name like his kids after Noonien Singh. That would actually make a lot of sense that he would do that. That would actually be a nice little interesting callback, and maybe she's like maybe she's the like grandmother of Noonien Singh, the guy who creates Data. So that would actually be interesting, Lisa. That would actually be an interesting connection, and like weirdly supremacist, but it fits the character, right? So I'm curious to see where they go with that. So that's actually a really cool idea, Lisa. All right, let's see. Yeah, everyone's Redem 10. You were correct. Everyone is related to Data. Like every Star Trek franchise needs to have some like Data ancestor come. Data's family tree is ridiculous, and honestly, I'm here for it. I'm here for it's their Star Trek is a very thoughtful, intentional, deep, thoughtful show. And then there are things in Star Trek that are just silly and weird. And the ever-growing Data family tree is one of those silly elements of Trek that's like, yeah, it's silly and nonsense, but you know what? I'm here for it. I'm here for the ever-growing Data family tree. Anywho, so that's everything that I think happened in this Strange New Worlds trailer, besides, more of, Ensign Mount being the hot Silver Fox daddy who just hurts me every time he's on screen because of how attractive he is. And then also Ethan Peck. Look at his Silver Fox face! And then also Ethan Peck, who, attractive. Significantly less attractive without the beard, though. Just saying. Ethan Peck, if you ever hear this stream, you look great with the beard. And I'm sorry that I objectify you, so maybe don't get the beard back. You're a wonderful human being. I'm just a weirdo on the internet, so don't listen to me. Okay, so the last thing that I'm going to nerd out about with all of you was the Star Trek Picard trailer. Pause this. Nope, not Trek culture. Go away, Trek culture. No, I love Trek culture. Trek culture is great. If you want some good Trek stuff, go subscribe to Trek culture. They do really good work. I love everything that they do there. And Sean Fennick, who does the guy who you saw there on the screen, he's an amazing human being. And I've interacted with him a little bit on Twitter. He's a really great person. Trek culture is great. Not as great as some other Star Trek focused channels out there, maybe starring sexy, cute trans women, but They do good stuff. But let's see the Star Trek Picard trailer. Let me pause this so it's not gonna go too far. Oh, Rafi, sad. Oh, Edward Beador, thank you so much for the super chat. Heart to you. You said, thank God there are no child support payments in the future. I don't know if Data could hit. Yeah, Data would just be like, there's so many child support payments. Noonie and his grandfather and his father would also be having a lot of like things too, a lot of child support payments too. Okay, maybe you could make a scribe. I actually filmed a video that will be coming out that is going to be called me explaining the Star Trek franchise to newbies. So that actually is coming. That will be a video that I will do at some point. Don't worry, it's already filmed in the can. It's a bit of a comedic video, but it should also be helpful. So that will actually be happening. Okay, so let's check. Oh, this is season 2 trailer. Okay. So I would highly recommend you check out this trailer because the music in it is really, really cool. Like the music they start the trailer off with is like creepy and weird and super, super cool. So I'm down for the Star Trek Picard trailer here. But I don't want to play it because I obviously can't play it because we'll get a copyright infringement. So we got some little flashes of what looks to be a little young Jean-Luc with his little young Jean-Luc with his dapper little hat. His little dapper little Jean-Luc being a little nerd. He was a dork. Like, I'm a dork. Look at this dorky little British Frenchman. Frenchman with a British accent. Being all like, it looks like he's like, please sir, can I have some more? Like straight up like Oliver Twist and their little young Jean-Luc. Super Femi, I do make Sacred Trek still, and I actually filmed one recently that will be coming out. I know I don't do them as often, but I will still be doing Sacred Treks, and I believe the next one I have filmed, done, and edited will be coming out, I want to say either next month or November. So there will be more Sacred Treks. They just come out at a weirdly different rate. Let's see. Would I marry Data? I would marry Data. I mean, Data seems... Nah, Data's not emotionally... Maybe with Data with the emotion chip. Possibly. So he at least be emotional. No, Data had emotions before the emotion chip. I don't know. Later season Data, I probably would say. Not early season Data, because we saw what happens when he dated that it didn't really work out too well. But more emotionally mature Data, like, because Data always had emotions. That's my hot take. Data always had emotions. He just experienced emotions in a different way. He processed them in a different way. And thank you, Kit Riker. Thank you for saying I love all your vids. Well, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for saying such kind things. But here we got Q being all Q. He's all cute. Look at his cute face. But my favorite part, I can't play the trailer because it would, again, copyright infringement. But if you listen to the trailer, he just says this, like, remember what I said the last we spoke? The trial never ends. And I'm like, ah! I was so pumped. I'm like, yes, the trial never ends. The trial never motherfucking ends. It never ends, everybody. So yeah, that was great. And then Picard literally just says, Q, I'm too old for your bull. And then Q snaps his finger, because that's what he does, which was hilarious, absolutely hysterical. Look at that face. Look at that sexy smolder. He's got John Delancey's got that sexy Q smolder. You know they're eye fucking each other. Like, come on. Like, Picard and Q here, they're straight up, like, he is straight up eye fucking him right now, and it is the hottest thing. Like, I am here for the Q Picard, not as much as Data and Picard, my dick card shipping, but Q card is pretty solid too. You get a nice little fling. Picard can have a nice little fling with Q, in the I want to say in the sheets, but probably in that weird nebulous white space that they went to in Tapestry. But I'm really excited to see John Delancey back as Q, and I'm sure their interactions are going to be a load of fun. With Picard just being like, I'm not taking any of your crap anymore, and Q just being like, whoa! Picard got sassy in his old age. Aged like a fine wine. Let's see. So then, this is where we might get a little bit of spoiler. This is a trailer, so the trailers are the spoilers. But just so you're warning, if you don't want any spoilers going into Star Trek Picard, that we might touch upon a little bit of that. But I'm not going to spoil anything that's not in the trailer. But I am gonna talk about stuff in the trailer. So if you don't want any Star Trek Picard spoilers, be aware. This is what we're gonna this is gonna do that. But Q, turns out, changed the past, and we got these like huge Starfleet badges for some reason. I don't know what's going on there. Either that or it's like a La Serena badge that Rios has on here, but it's huge. It's definitely compensating for something, because turns out that the Federation, because of whatever Q did, was turned into and it is a Federation badge, turned into some sort of totalitarian, probably very fascist, very Mirror Universe-esque dictatorship going on here, with Picard being all super fashy here. And as we know, because of fascists obviously need to compensate for something, so they need huge badges, because they are compensating for something else. Because let's just be honest, fascists do need to compensate for something. You know what I'm saying here. It's because they're fascists, because fascists are terrible people. Just hopefully that's not too much of a political statement to say here. I'm going to say it anyways. I don't care, but there you go. Let's see. But anyways, turns out Q made everything fascist. And so Picard and everyone are rightfully upset about that. We also get this really interesting photo of like Picard in like a black. I will say, if this wasn't a fascist uniform, I would say it is kind of like the whole thing is fascism is all about like aesthetic and like looking powerful. And so I will give them this. Fashion sometimes can have some good fashion sense, especially when it comes to black. And this looks kind of cool. But again, fascist bad. But they got the black aesthetic kind of down. And this looks like a cool like black version of the motion picture timeline, like Wrath of Connie kind of uniform. It's a cool painting. And let's see here. But obviously they need to go back in time to fix everything. And they run into the Borg Queen. And so Picard has to go back in time. He has to put a phallic object in the Borg Queen because we all know the Borg Queen is all about sex metaphors. Like literally everything with the Borg Queen has to be some sort of metaphor and interjections and stuff. So they're using a Borg Queen to go back in time, which I'm sure is going to work out perfectly fine for them. Nothing bad is going to happen from working with the Borg Queen. I'm sure it is going to be perfectly safe and nothing bad. And Edward Beto, thank you so much for your super chat. Wolf359 was an inside job. Yeah, that was great. That was a great joke from Star Trek Lower Decks making fun of conspiracy theorists. But yeah, I am sure everything's going to be perfectly fine with the Queen. It's going to be okay. It's all going to go perfectly well. So they go back in time, and they go back in time to Los Angeles. This looks like Echo Park, by the way. I used to live in Los Angeles, for those of you who don't know. And this is definitely Echo Park. It looks like you can see Los Angeles in the background there. And I've walked around this beach, or this thing a few times. This is like the most water you're going to see in Los Angeles ever, is this like little pond here, unless you're at the actual beach. And Isaac Lloyd, thank you so much for the super chat. Mwah, heart to you, sending you all the love. So they're futzing around Los Angeles. This looks like, actually, is that the Los Angeles Library right there? That might be the Los Angeles Library in downtown LA. So now I'm showing you off my LA knowledge of like where they at. This is definitely, okay, that's definitely, they got the pods. Got some pods stuff in there. This is definitely the Santa Monica Pier, clearly. This looks like downtown LA, but that might be City Hall. I'm not 100% sure what that is. And we also got Robert Feldman. Heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. Mwah. You said Raffi and Seven forever. I'm here for Raffi and Seven. I really hope that's something I do hope they delve into. They're hanging out a lot here and they're arguing a bit, but I do hope that they kind of hinted at a sort of like relationship between these two. So I really hope that they are building that up. Like maybe they have like a very contentious relationship, but I do hope that they actually are building up a Seven and Raffi relationship and actually like exploring both of those characters' bisexuality, because they are non-canonically outside of canon confirmed to be bisexual, which is great. But I do hope that Seven and Raffi do get to become on-screen canonically bisexual, and you know they'll. And however form that takes, but I do hope that they can officially confirm that. So I'm down for the two of them together, as long as it's a healthy relationship. Though, as we see later in the trailer, it could be a little bit toxic too, because they're arguing in this car a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. Patrick Stewart. This is also downtown LA. I might have even parked this. I seem to remember this exact parking garage, honestly, or parking spaces here. Also, look at 7 of 9's outfit. She's like, oh, I'm over it. I'm over it. And heart to you. Thank you so much, Hontus Farmer. Love the Q attitude Q shows with his finger snap. I agree. And Nick H, heart to you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Mwah, heart to you. Raffi plus 7 equals Raven. I'm here for that. I'm actually, oh, that better be their ship name. Nick, if that is not their ship name, I'm going to be using that as ship name because that is perfection. Because obviously the Raven was like a big background element story for 7 of 9's character. I love that. Nick, you may have, if that is not their official ship name, it will be, and I will make it a thing. I'm going to use that. Heart to you, Geek Filter. Thank you so much for the super chat, you lovely human. And you said, I'm excited to have it set in LA where I live. Less excited that we have a sanctuary district. Yeah, I don't know where you caught that, but Geek Filter sent me a message. Geek Filter, by the way, for those of you who don't know, is my podcast partner and a good friend of mine. But he sent me I don't know where it is in the trailer, but there somewhere in this trailer you can see there is a reference to the sanctuary districts from the one episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. So nice that they're keeping that canon in there, though, to be fair. The sanctuary districts are awful and terrible, but a nice social critique. But I'm glad that that's like gets a reference in there. So I'm not entirely sure where that is, though, in this trailer. Also, you got Patrick Stewart looking dapper. Gotta have Patrick Stewart looking dapper. Heart to you, Edward Bedor. Thank you so much for the super chat. You said Star Trek pitch, Sisko and Garrick's actions Deep Space Nine to deceive the Romulans gets out leading to the Romulans going to war. That would probably happen. Honestly, if they ever found out about that, that would probably lead to a Federation-Romulan war, and that would be a very interesting story, actually. That would be a great story, Edward. I would love to see that. Though, to be fair, the Romulan Star Empire is kind of kaputs now, so who knows? Probably. I don't think the Romulans have the ability to go to war with the Federation at this point. So there we go. Alexis Edits. Yes, Alexis Edits. I see your chat. You said, hey, Jerry Ryan confirmed that Seven was officially canonly bisexual. You are correct, Alexis. But here's the thing. That this is a whole other discussion that I could get into. But while I love that Jerry Ryan, I adore and love. And actually, Michael Chabon, who wrote Star Trek Picard Season 1 and was an executive producer of Star Trek Picard Season 1, and he's now just like a writer and helper on Season 2 because he got busy with doing other stuff. He also confirmed that Seven was bisexual, which is great. And I don't get me wrong, like them saying that the actual people involved creatively in the process saying that the character is bisexual is a very good sign and awesome. However, they have not officially said it within the context of the show yet. It may happen in Season 2. And I have an issue with people confirming characters' bisexualities off-screen, like saying it's canon and having it appear off-screen without actually confirming it like fully officially in the work. They don't get to have their cake and eat it too in that sense. And I direct this more at Michael Chabon than Jerry Ryan, because Jerry Ryan's an actress and she's one of the ones who helped push for the character becoming bisexual. So I'm not putting this on Jerry Ryan whatsoever. It's sort of more of a larger conversation about how we talk about LGBTQ representation in general, and specifically bisexual representation, but general LGBTQ representation kind of fits in this too. It is awesome to see creators and people confirming characters' LGBTQ identity online and things like that. I'm here for that. But that needs to come backed up with actual representation in the show itself. It's important. It's important to see that, because not everyone who watches the show is not going to be watching it to be interacting on Twitter. And so you need to have that officially confirmed in the show, shown in the show, and made it unmissable in the show. Because sometimes they code it as LGBTQ. They do what's called queer coding. And queer coding, while a lot of LGBTQ people will pick up on the coding, if they don't make it obvious, there are people who wish to deny it, can deny it. And so it's very, very important to... Mary Mello mentions Verily Bitchy, who is an absolutely wonderful YouTuber. You should check out her stuff. Did a video on this too. James Summerson also is another great YouTuber as well. Also did a similar video on this recently, talking about it within the context of Disney, talking about this. But yeah, it is very important for creators to make it explicit in the show. So awesome that they confirmed it off screen on Twitter. I'm not against that. I'm not putting that down. That is cool, and I'm glad for it, and I thank them for being allies. But that needs to come backed up with putting it on screen. And that can take many different forms. It doesn't need to be a character stopping the show and be like, "Hi, I am bisexual," ding, at the camera. But just showing that the character has attraction to different characters. Like, even if I'm bisexual, and when I'm trying to explore polyamory, but I've been in monogamous relationships. And when I've been in monogamous relationships, even though I am, bisexual, just because I'm with one partner of one gender does not negate my bisexuality, nor does it mean that I stop being able to see attraction to other people. Like, in a monogamous relationship, I don't cheat on my partner or anything, but I will say oh, hey, that person's hot. That person's hot. And that still is an element of my attraction, bisexuality. It's the same thing. I mean, straight people do the same thing. I'm sure people in monogamous relationships who are straight are just also hey, I'm dating this girl. I love this girl. And she's wonderful. But I'll notice other girls who are hot, and I'll say that. And same thing with straight women being oh, that guy's hot, but I'm still with this guy. Just we share attraction, in that way. And so I think it's kind of important to share that. So there's different ways to show attraction and bisexuality on screen, but, it just needs to be explicit and make it explicit. So anyways, that's my little bisexual rant for the day. But we got little Picard being all dapper. We got the Borg Queen we got Issa Briones back as Soji, it looks like. We got Q snapping his fingers again, wearing a little Europa badge there. So that's kind of interesting. We got the Borg Queen being all evil and crap, because, the Borg Queen's going to do some nasty stuff. Though it'd actually be interesting, because it clearly looks like she's been tortured a little bit, because the totalitarian, like whatever the totalitarian Federation was clearly doing, like probably doing experiments on her, to be quite frank. So honestly, what would be really interesting for this show is if, while the Borg Queen is clearly not going to be 100% good, she's definitely going to be some form of lawful neutral, lawful evil in this show. It would be interesting if they like made us feel sympathy for her because of like with some of the stuff that she's gone through. I mean, not that trauma is the only way to be able to empathize with characters. There should be able to empathize with characters beyond trauma. But it would be a sort of an interesting way to get into that character in an interesting way if they do sort of like have us start to empathize with the Borg Queen and sort of have us go that way. It would be kind of an interesting way. Not that I would agree with the Borg Queen, because stripping away someone's individuality against their will is awful. So I probably will not fully be on board with the Borg Queen ever. But it would be interesting if they sort of delve into that element of her character. But we'll see. We'll see. She's like the Borg Queen is definitely lawful neutral, lawful evil in some way. But the Borg Queen will never be lawful good. But it'll be interesting to see how they dive into that. And that's pretty much everything. We got Zhaban, who the Romulan character Zhaban, who I loved last season. But we got Zhaban here. Being radiant somehow, like being so freaking beautiful that she's just knocking everyone out. Like Rios can't even look at her. I'm sure she's doing some sci-fi stuff, but she's just also wonderful. So good to see her. This looks like a sanctuary district. Yeah, right here. We got the sanctuary district regulation, so referencing that bit. So they're clearly in that, which is I'm sure they're gonna use that for an interesting social commentary. Which honestly, if Star Trek Picard really delves into what the sanctuary districts is and takes a look at homelessness and the way we treat the homeless in our society today, and have that be a big arc of the show, or at least like address it within the show, like Deep Space Nine did, I think that'd be awesome. And that would really be to the heart of Star Trek, of really taking the sanctuary district idea of that Deep Space Nine brought up and evolving it further to talk about today how our society lacks empathy for the homeless, how as our capitalist society creates homelessness, and as the pay gap and the wage gap and the 1% get more and more money, and the ability for us, the people of the lower classes, to be able to even survive and have less ability to pay for ourselves. We're pushing more and more people into homelessness, and then we also vilify homelessness in our society and ostracize the homeless. I think if Star Trek to take that on and address that, especially in Los Angeles, which has a really big homeless problem, and really talk about our empathy for the homeless, I think that would be a really, really great thing for Star Trek Picard to do. And it looks like they're at least going to touch upon it. I hope it's not something they just sort of gloss over, but it looks like it would be a really cool thing for them to touch upon if they're going back in time to the 21st century and really talk about that. Would be really, really cool. So yeah, that is Star Trek Picard's trailer. I was very, very pumped about that. Honestly, I was not the biggest fan of Star Trek Picard Season 1. It was probably my least favorite of the modern Treks. I still liked elements of it. There were things about Star Trek Picard Season 1 that I really, really loved. And I'm sorry, I know I saw a few super chats that I will get to, so apologies that I will get to it in just a second. But yeah, so there's elements of Star Trek Picard Season 1 that I loved, but overall I thought the weakest first season of the show. But this trailer, while the going back in time to fix the future story is a little bit cliche, we've seen it done before a bunch of times, I think if they use that as a vehicle for some interesting storytelling, both for the character development of like 7 and 9 and Raffi and Picard, as well as possibly doing some interesting social criticism about like classism and homelessness and things like that, I think that will be super, super cool to see. And so I think the potential of this season, while the storyline is a bit cliche, I think has a lot of potential to really address some really salient issues in a Star Trekian way that I'm very, very pumped for. And it just looks like a lot of fun. So I'm very excited for it. We'll see though, because potential does not always mean it will be great. But I'm very excited for this season, despite my reservations about season 1 of Star Trek Picard. Also Rios just being also a Silver Fox daddy, because look at that guy. Cristobal Rios is freaking hot. Also, so is Jerry Ryan. Like, I was saying this with Geek Filter while we were watching this, like, Jerry Ryan has not aged a second. Like, look at her. She has not aged a second. Like, I say this, like, Patrick Stewart also has not aged. Like, the thing with Patrick Stewart is he aged, like, 40 years when he was, like, 20. Like, if you look at, like, he was, like, 20 or 30 back when Star Trek The Next Generation started. And he looked like he was already, like, 40 or 50. But from that point on, he did not age a day. Like, he still looks the same. Like, he aged terribly for the first few years of his life, and then he did not age a day, and he looks amazing. Beautiful, beautiful man. So, yeah. That's all my thoughts on Star Trek. I'm going to jump back over to... I know I was not expecting to go this entire stream talking about Star Trek, but I guess I just had to gush about it for a while. So this has just become a Star Trek gush fest for the stream. But let me hang out with the chat. I'll hang out with the chat for another 5 minutes or so, because I know I've been ranting a lot at the camera about Star Trek. But I'm going to send heart to you, Edward Bedor. I know I missed your super chat. And we call it Star Trek Wars. Yes. Get some Star Trek Wars crossover. And then Catherine Lambeth, heart to you, said, my oath of bisexuality is on record, Captain. Referencing Star Trek The Motion Picture with my oath of celibacy is on record, Captain, which was the weirdest line. But very Gene Roddenberry. But weird. Very weird. All right. Yeah. I'm going to hang out with all of y'all for a little bit. Sorry that I needed to gush about Star Trek, so I hope you all appreciated me gushing about Star Trek. So I'm sorry that I spent most of it not dealing with the talking to the chat as much. But I hope you all enjoyed it. But yeah, how's everyone doing? Matrix Resurrections looks fantastic. Nathan, yeah, I did I shared it in my community tab, so if you go to the community tab on this channel, I did actually a reaction to the trailer over on my other channel. So if you want my reactions to the Matrix trailer, I did a reaction to it. Looks great. That's some trans culture dropping. Because, like, Lana Wachowski, like, one of the most mainstream transgender directors and artists that there is. And I'm just glad that, like, I'm excited to see more of The Matrix. But I'm just also excited for, I'm excited to see a transgender creator get to have, like, something made that is that mainstream and that big. And I'm very excited for The Matrix, but I'm also just excited for that opportunity. For the show. So, Robert Richmond, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said, Matrix Queen Lana Wachowski did it again. Thank you so much. Yeah, well, why am I saying anything? Thank you so much for the super chat, I should say. And yeah, Lana Wachowski, we'll see how it goes, but that trailer I was very excited for that trailer. Very excited for that trailer. So, let's see what else we got going on here. Miss Wicked Wolf, this Saturday is the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Yes, unfortunately it is. It's hard to believe it's been 20 years, but yeah, my heart to the everyone who lost family or had to suffer that day in some way. So heart to everybody on that. But yes, it is the 20th anniversary of 9/11 coming up. So there you go. Yeah. Oh, we're talking about Charles D. You said talking about Matt Baum's video on Garrick and his bisexual or him being gay, and how Rick Berman sort of told them to not make Garrick gay in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, which was very disappointing. Matt Baum did a great video on that. Highly recommend it. Matt Baum being another YouTuber. So Matt Baum did a great video on Garrick and LGBTQ representation in Star Trek about a month or two ago. It's a great video that I highly recommend everyone check out. Edward Bedor, heart to you. Thank you so much for the super chat. You said, I'm calling it now. Q is going to make Picard suffer a dilemma where undoing the Federation fascist state means the Borg win and ever some. Oh yeah, Edward, we're going to see a Borg dystopia at some point. Like, the Borg Queen's going to, like, do some shenanigans and get loose, and they're going to fix the timeline, but then the Borg Queen's going to get loose and assimilate Earth, and we're going to get a Borg dystopia in the future. So yeah, that is 100%, Edward, 100% going to happen. It'd be cool to see, though. It'd be cool to see a Borg dystopia. And what that looks like. Maybe we'll get the crazy. Remember that one episode from the episode Parallels where the Riker was all like crazy because the Borg had taken over? Maybe it'll be that universe, and we'll get crazy haired Riker. Be kind of fun. And excuse me, some spit in my throat. Lissy M. Roberts, thank you so much for your super chat. Heart to you. I really appreciate that. That is a very generous super chat, so I'm giving you an extra heart, and I say thank you so much. Let's see. Oh, Brian, don't feel bad for about being late to the party. I'm just glad that you're here. Oh, I'm sorry, Lissy, that happened to you. I'm sorry that someone was harassing you. I apologize. Heart to you. All right. Can you shout out Kiki, please? I will shout out Kiki. Is Kiki somewhere in the chat? But Joshua, yes, I will shout out Kiki. I don't know why I'm shouting out Kiki, but sending love to Kiki. Sending absolute love. Apologies if I missed something in the chat. Oh yeah, by the way, they re-released some old Star Trek games. As Redem said, they're playing Star Trek Armada again. They re-released some old Star Trek games. So probably not this weekend because I'll probably be either playing some Psychonauts or Life is Strange on Saturday. But I will be playing some Star Trek games more on Saturday at some point. I've never played Star Trek Elite Force 2, and I want to, even though I heard that game has somewhat of a bad reputation, but I've never played it, so I probably will play Star Trek Elite Force 2 one of these weekends in the near future. So that will happen. But they released like Star Trek Elite Force, Bridge Commander 3, Star Trek Elite Force 2, Armada 2, and then I think one or two others they re-released. So I'm gonna grab them and play those. I need to find them, so. Oh, Stuart, I haven't done that. The grilled cheese with apple slice. That does sound really good. I remember you mentioned it before. I remember it being like, oh yeah, that sounds delicious. But yeah, no, I haven't tried it yet. Have not tried it yet. Do you think Star Trek will ever have consensual hive mind positivity? Yeah, I mean, I'm not against hive minds as a concept. Like in real life, like that's why I said earlier with the Borg Queen, like I'm against taking away someone's individuality consensually. Because they did have an episode of Star Trek Voyager where you saw a community of people that were like consensually all part of like a collective, and they still had some form of individuality, but they were still like reading minds of each other, and that was decently done until the point where there's a spoiler for that episode where they take away Chakotay's individuality. They forced their will upon Chakotay and forced Chakotay to do something against his will, which is pretty awful. Taking away someone's agency is disgusting in whatever form that it takes. Taking away their agency against their will is disgusting in whatever form that it takes. But that being said, I'm not necessarily, I mean, I don't know, I would have to think hard about it if something I would want for myself, but I think if people did want to create a sort of hive mind situation and everyone opted into it and it was done ethically and consensually, I think that that's fine. I don't think that that's necessarily a bad idea. But again, it's not something I would necessarily immediately sign up for, but it's curious, and I'd be curious if Star Trek could do it well. So it'd be interesting. Does the hive mind offer healthcare, says Anne? Yeah, as long I mean, I would assume if you're all connected, there would probably be a greater propensity for people to like want to take care of each other. I mean, that would be like the whole point, right? If you have a hive mind, you're more willing to want to care about each other. That I feel like that would be the kind of point. Or you could go further in the other direction where, like, if you're in a hive mind, people care less about the individual, so you're just like, die. That's what the Borg kind of are. They're like, one of us can die, we don't care. So it could go either way. I mean, I could see it being much more like caring versus, or it could go the other way too, where individual people are less cared about. But I would tend to assume that if it's a consensual one, that it would lean the other way. That individual bodies would be respected and taken care of for the whole. But you see, so like Sense8, yeah, Sense8 is kind of like that, the hive mind sort of thing. Sense8 is actually a great example of a hive mind kind of thing. They all are shared connection hive mind. That's actually a great point. I didn't even think about that connection immediately, but yeah, Sense8 is a great representation of like positive hive mind concept, which would be kind of cool. And yay, that's awesome, Ron, getting the Star Trek Discovery Season 1 Blu-ray. That's awesome. I don't have any Blu-rays. I don't watch physical media all that much anymore. I watch everything streaming most of the time now, or other ways. So I don't really buy much physical media. The only physical media that I buy is like stuff for directors. I like directors' commentaries. I like directors' commentaries, so I'll buy stuff for directors' commentaries, but that's about it. Anywho, I'm probably gonna wrap up because I have not had dinner yet, so I want to go make some dinner. So I think I'm gonna wrap up the stream, everyone, and just send everyone some love and hearts. I'm going to just make a couple quick announcements before we wrap out. Tomorrow, I'm gonna share the link here. The video should already be up. I'm just gonna quick say, oh, Ulysses the Bacon, thanks so much for the super chat. Heart to you. Does the end justify the means, like a Stargate airstrip, they end up doing the same thing that the Ori did? I think that's a case by case basis for the ends justify the means. I don't think the ends ever. Again, it would always have to depend on the situation. I am not someone who ever says, like, if you're doing good, that everything you do in the effort to do something good is okay. So I do not think the ends justify the means is an absolute statement ever. Correct. It's as an absolute statement. No, I don't agree with it. On a case by case basis, I could say that, like, there's a case to be made for something like harm reduction, where you might have to do something that you dislike or is unsavory in order to reduce harm because you have no other choice to. So I do think harm reduction is a thing in those circumstances, but as an absolute, do the ends justify the means? No. I don't think that is an absolute thing. So, Joe White, heart to you. Thank you so much. I'm half an hour behind in your stream. I just want to wish Janet Kagan Uhura's song was still alive to write Uhura's centric episode. Yeah, Janet Kagan did write some really good books. And Edward Bedor, thanks so much to you. Heart to you. And thank you, Joe, for your super chat. And heart to you, Edward, for your super chat. You said, when faced with being on the receiving end of a genocide like the Ori, all bets were off. Again, it's a case by case benefit sort of thing, Edward. Anyways, I'm going to wrap out. Thank you so much for the super chats, everybody. But I need to wrap out the stream because my voice is getting a little bit tired and I need to go make dinner. But quick announcements. I'm going to share a link in the chat in just a second for a video that I'm going to be doing tomorrow. The video tomorrow is going to it's going to be a big video. I think I suffered for it, by the way. This is the video that I got a sinus infection on. So the video that goes up tomorrow, I literally gave myself that terrible sinus infection for this video. So I suffered for this video. But this video is going up tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time. There'll be a premiere for it, but it will also be it'll also be available after the fact, obviously. So I hope everyone checks it out because it is a really good video. I'm really proud of it. But also, should be noted, there is going to be a channel announcement in that video. Don't worry, it's nothing bad. Positive news. But it is some good positive news. So if you need another tease for that video, and I'm sharing the link right now in the chat. Sharing the link in the chat. Go check out the video. Set it to notify you to see it. Because I'm very proud of this video. And the announcement is really, really cool. I'm excited about the announcement. Again, it is a positive one, so no one worry about it. It's not like I'm canceling the channel or anything like that. So don't get scared on that front. So check that out. Also, don't forget, Saturday is the drunk live stream. So if you want more live streams, I'm going to get drunk and we're going to play some video games on Saturday night. I've been playing Psychonauts 2 off stream because I really love the game. So depending on if I beat Psychonauts 2 or not, I might, Saturday we're either going to play, I'm either going to be playing more Psychonauts 2 depending on how far I get in that game on my own. Or conversely, if I beat Psychonauts 2, we might be playing Life is Strange True Colors, the new Life is Strange game that'll be coming out. That I think came out today, or it came out either today or tomorrow, something like that. So we'll either be playing Life is Strange or Psychonauts 2, depending on if I finish Psychonauts 2 or not. So yeah, that'll be on Saturday. So video tomorrow, stream on Saturday. Otherwise, I will see you all then. But regardless, sending you all love and hugs. I'm going to go get dinner. I love you all. I give you all the biggest hugs. Thank you for being a wonderful, amazing community and listening to me gush about Star Trek for an hour. I do very much appreciate it. And I hope you all have a wonderful good night. If I can find the button. I don't know where the button is. Oh, shoot. Oh, no. Where's the end of the stream button? Okay, here it is. All right. Love you all. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you for being lovely people and a lovely community. And I will see you all.